Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Blumenthal, I realize this is your first hearing as chair of the Constitution Subcommittee, and I want to thank you for starting off this Congress with a series of hearings on critical topics, including the epidemic of gun violence, and it is truly an epidemic. In my home state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, which I'm honored to represent, we have the equivalent of at least one mass shooting every weekend. When you put together the number of people who are injured and killed by gun every weekend in the city of Chicago. I always thought the problem with those numbers is they don't hit you in one big number. They just keep coming at you every single weekend. And if it's a holiday weekend, it's even worse, dramatically worse. And the stories in recent weeks of the profligate use of guns by those who think they can never have enough guns out in circulation. We're children. Children are being shot. A 2-year-old in a car on Lakeshore Drive, a 7-year-old at a McDonald's drive-in a week ago. It's just out of control situation. And the question is, when will it reach a point where we do something effective? I thought the point had been reached on December 14th, 2012. I believe that that was the moment when a gunman murdered 20 children and 6 educators at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. I thought that's got to be it. A room full of little kids, looked just like my granddaughter, gunned down in the classroom, 6 educators. Finally, we're going to do something. Countries have responded to far fewer deaths by changing the whole approach to guns. But sadly, in the months after Sandy Hook, we held hearings. We voted on some gun safety reform, but even key reforms, not universally, but just overwhelmingly supported, like universal background checks, were filibustered and failed. While Congress sits here again and fails to act every day, the deadly toll of gun violence grows, not just in Illinois and Chicago, but across this country. I'm not giving up on common sense reforms, and I know Senator Blumenthal is not either. I want to say one thing in prefacing my remarks. When we often speak about people who are mentally unstable, who shouldn't be owning firearms, I hope we quickly add the vast majority of people dealing with mental illness are not violent people, and they're not dangerous people. And we shouldn't assume that they are. Many of them need treatment and help, and they can lead perfectly normal and safe lives for themselves and others. But there are exceptions, and many times deadly exceptions. Look at what happened in Indianapolis just 2 weeks ago. A 19-year-old gunman murdered 8 people at the FedEx facility. It was horrific. In March 2020, last year, that gunman's mother had contacted the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department to inform them that her son's recent firearm purchase concerned her because he had suggested he planned to threaten police with a firearm in order to provoke a shooting. The police department placed him on a temporary mental health hold and removed the shotgun from his possession. But prosecutors, for reasons I don't know, never filed an extreme risk protection order petition under Indiana's law. In July and September of 2020, the gunman was able to legally buy 2 semi-automatic rifles, which he used to commit this mass murder. Let me tell you my experiences in Illinois, which belie some of the extreme statements that have been said about these laws. We have a firearm restraining order that took effect in 2019. The law allows family members and law enforcement to petition a court to temporarily remove firearms from the possession of an individual who presents a significant risk to himself or others. According to information reported by the Illinois State Police, a firearm restraining order has been issued 59 times under this Illinois law. In 2 years, a state of 12.7 million people, it's been used 59 times. We have 2.2 million licensed gun owners in Illinois. So clearly, this is a targeted intervention. This is not a broad, sweeping thing denying due process to legal gun owners. I've talked with law enforcement officials in Illinois who point out that it takes resources to carry out these orders. They need some help. I think this is a tool. It is not the overall answer, but it's an important tool. And in some cases, it can save lives. In Indianapolis, had it been used, I think it could have saved those 8 lives. At least we know that possibility. So I thank you for calling us together today to discuss this. And as I said at one point here, one bill is not going to solve gun violence in America. But shame on us if we reject common sense approach that most gun owners endorse as the only sensible way to take guns out of the hands of people who are dangerous.